basketball fans, welcome back. So the NBA ratings have been a big talking point all season, and there's been a lot of debate on why they are declining and what can be done to be able to fix the problem. So, well, the NBA fans hilariously reckon that the players have found the solution based on the brawls that we have seen recently. So the NBA ratings went down and everyone just started fighting all of a sudden. The Heat versus Rockets game ended in a fight that led to the ejection of 4 players and 2 coaches. So the most recent of the brawls we witnessed was kickstarted by Amin Thompson and Tyler Hero when the Houston Rockets took on the Miami Heat. So Thompson slammed Hero to the ground in the fourth quarter, and all hell broke loose afterwards. So in the aftermath, Thompson, Hero, Jalen Green, and Terry Rozier, Rockets head coach Ime Udoka, and Rockets assistant coach Ben Sullivan were all ejected. Thompson is likely to be suspended over this incident as well, but it's unclear for how long. But just a couple of days before the brawl, we witnessed one during the game between the Phoenix Suns and Dallas Mavericks. Some Mavericks players took offense to an offensive foul committed by Yusuf Nurkic in the third, and Najee Marshall made it clear to him on no uncertain terms. So Nurkic responded by striking him in the face, and Marshall punched him in retaliation. And PJ Washington then shoved Nurkic, and for a second it looked like things might go horribly wrong. And unfortunately, officials, coaches, and some players managed to defuse the situation, and the NBA suspended Marshall for 4 games, Nurkic for 3, and Washington for 1 afterward. So prior to these 2 incidents, we have also seen Ron Holland and Jordan Clarkson square it off when the Pistons took on the Utah Jazz. No punches were thrown though. That's actually the biggest upside there. While the only notable recent brawls are the ones mentioned earlier, we have seen one too many of these altercations between players of late. It might be helping the ratings a bit, but no one is for certain that this is what is going to bring people and make people continue to watch NBA. So the NBA certainly doesn't want to see players fighting or squaring it off in this manner because it's a very bad representation. So, but they're desperate to avoid malice in the palace situation with all these occasional fights. But in fact, Boston Celtics head coach Joe Mazzulla even advocated for fighting to come back in the NBA. It's as if the NBA have become more of an MMA, boxing, or even WWE event. But anyway, it's what it is. So Joe Mazzulla, he came out and said, the biggest thing that we rob people from an entertainment standpoint is you can't fight anymore. I wish you could bring back fighting. So this is actually absurd. I just don't get why some sports are allowed to clear their benches. We just have a ball. The other sports have one of the hardest surfaces and playing instruments in pucks and sticks, and you're not allowed to throw down a bit. So he posed that as a question. So, well, Mazzulla sure will have been pleased to see these 2 fights break out. He nearly got into a fight himself in December 19th, the same day the Holland-Clarkson fight and incident took place, but at least no punches were thrown on that one. But it wasn't with the player or coach. Mazzulla was fierce with the referee Justin Van Duyn after the Chicago Bulls beat the Celtics 117-108. So fortunately, Mazzulla was held back, or else something might have happened and he would have landed in a whole lot of trouble. So while fights and altercation might lead to the NBA grabbing more eyeballs, I'll bet it will be better if some safer solution were found to solve this problem. So we've seen a lot of fights happening in the NBA, and a lot of people are tuning in just to see the drama, and it's kind of watering down the NBA, as we know, because people are tuning in for the drama and not for the actual game, because the NBA have mangled the game entirely to the point where everything goes in the game. Not too much offense, not too much defense. A lot of people, especially former players, analysts, have said that the NBA game has become very boring, and to a point where every game just looks the same, because even this season, in last season, for the past like 3-4 years, I can say I've literally struggled in watching NBA games, because I feel like if you watch one game, it's like you've seen all of them, because they run the same plays. A lot of threes are being taken. I'm not saying that the product is not good, but I feel like the method is being replicated by every single team, and kind of like waters down everything. So it's not as exciting as you might have witnessed when you played, or when we watched the game in the early 2000s, in the late 2000s, the early 2010s, because the game was much more, I can say, physical, and there was an entertainment factor. But the issue that the NBA has right now is they don't know how to keep an audience glued and invested in basketball like that. So that's actually one of the main issues that they're having. So hopefully they can be able to make changes, especially when it comes to just the overall gameplay and style, because the NBA players really struggle when they go to FIBA contests. We can see some players really complain when they go and play in FIBA when they're representing Team USA. Some of the fouls they get away with and get calls in the NBA, they don't get them in FIBA. The game is much more physical. You can't even play defense in the NBA because when you touch somebody a bit, it's called a foul. But in FIBA, you can have the hand checking rule there. There's a lot of physicality in there, and the players are being protected because they are valuable assets. And yeah, man, I mean, it's a very sticky situation. You want to play, you want players to play a bit physical, but you risk injury. And with the top stars getting injured, the ratings dip because a lot of people want to watch these players. So it's become a very, very hard thing. So they're trying to create rules, and they're trying to create like systems where the top players are protected, and so that they can keep bumping up their ratings. But anyway, it is what it is. So those are my 2 cents on it. So if you guys like the video, make sure to leave your feedback down in the comments on what you think about this. I'm gonna talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out.